A fifth day of protests have brought Barcelona to a standstill in what is being described as Spain's biggest political crisis in 40 years. Thousands marched to the city from 5 different areas of the Catalonian region. Friday's general strike saw planes cancelled and public transports reduced to a minimum. The Spanish government says people have a right to protest, but it must be done peacefully.
The right to protest must be protected by all public powers, and that is what the Spanish government does. And it should also be exercised in a totally peaceful manner.
Meanwhile, some Barcelona businesses and residents express fears the protests would hurt the economy, with many shops and cafes in the city centre closed on Friday night. With Barcelona attracting approximately 20 million tourists a year, there are also fears that the increased violence could put visitors off.
Tourism is very sensitive to changes, to movements, to violence. And of course, if you have such a movement here, which is, as you can see, a Pacific movement, it can have consequences also for tourism.
The entrances of many Barcelona historic sites were blocked off by protesters earlier in the day, including Sagrada Familia, where tourists were briefly trapped inside.
I've been living in Denmark 20 years. And Denmark is a country with free expression. It's the top of the list of human rights. In Denmark, you are allowed to talk, you are allowed to express yourself, and nobody is going to put you in jail.
Today, I'm not going to be paid in order to be here, but the people who are really making sacrifices are those who've been jailed because they've lost their family life.
In my situation with this disability, if they cancel trains and block off highways, it's more difficult for me. I arrived by underground. I had to come into the city at midnight when things were calm and before the metro closed.
But the peaceful protests turned quickly violent as Spanish police forces clashed with the separatist protesters for a 6th night in a row. As the political uncertainty continues to build, the future of Catalonia remains in the balance. And many understand that the demand for independence may not stand a chance. They want to be respected and they want to be heard. Layah, Heilpern, CGTN, Barcelona.